Hi, good morning. Um, I want to use one of the example to talk about margin call. And I posted a video. This week we're learning chapter 7. There are a couple of new terminology that's slightly different from previous chapters. We have a couple of new terms about stock market and the investments, financial investment. So I posted a video to explain what is a margin call. I think this video kind of explained the idea of when would you, what is a margin account and when would you receive a margin call. So there's a few assignment that was assigned for chapter 7, and they were assigned Tuesday, Wednesday. So if you look at it, I didn't assign a lot of questions because chapter 7 is not a high focus. We do need to learn a little bit about stock market. So one of the questions is about margin account and margin call. Um, this is in in section 7.2 about brokerage account and margin account. Um, broker Brokerage account is your cash account where um, you buy shares and sell shares. They manage your accounts. They also charge you commission or transaction fees. But margin account is different. Margin account is kind of like a loan. And for example, in this question, it says you open a margin account and you want to pay for let's say you buy a certain amount of stock. Um, so with a margin account, you are able to pay for the 65% of the initial price, or um or another way, you keep a balance of 65% of the original price. The other 35% of the price can be borrowed. So your actual cash that you have to put in there is at 65% of the 13,000. The the company that hold the margin account is the one that actually pays the full 13,000. That's kind of the idea. So a margin account is kind of like a pay for investment using borrowed money, and but there's a risk. They so they help you. They allow you to have large amount of money to pay for the investment, but you have to maintain a certain balance to make sure to share the risks. Um, all right. So this question was the assignment. I just want to explain what happened to a margin account. In a way, it's a loan. So that 35% of the money is a loan. Um, if the price went high, if the price increase, and this is actually buying the share, so you're in a long position. If the price go higher, there's no problem. But if the price go down, um, that the value of the market value, the value of the investment go down. Both you and the maintenance people, the company that hold the account for you, is bearing the risks. And um, in order to maintain the account, it says here you have to keep 45% of the maintenance margin, and this is 45% of the market price. Um, So we will receive a margin call if the balance in your margin account is lower than the 45% of maintenance margin. So let's look at an example. I actually pick out an example different than this one, just to make, this is actually a numerical example. It's the first question in the 7.2, section 7.2, the first problem that was assigned behind the chapter. So I'm just gonna use the second problem as a example just to further explain the idea. The original question is in here. I was looking at the solution just to compare. This is the assignment, chapter 7. Okay, so here's the assignment. 7.2 numbers. The first one was assigned as a homework. I'll let you try that. The second one, I'll just use that one as example just to try to illustrate the idea of a margin account. So here in this question, you open a Pat opens a new margin account with initial margin requirement of M. M could be 0.5. It could also be 0.7, 0.8. And the maintenance margin is slightly lower. That's M minus 0.2, which if M is 0.5, then M minus 0.2 would be 0.3. So that's a 13% maintenance margin. He uses account to purchase stock for 24,512. Okay, so that means that suppose M is 0.5, that means that he uses the margin account balance will be 12, 1, 2, 2, 5, 1, 2, 2, 5, 6, 2, 5, 6, 1, 2, 2, 5, 6 will be the account, the amount that he put in the she put in the margin account, and the other 1, 2, 2, 5, 6 will be borrowed. And that's kind of the idea. So a margin account allows you to make a larger amount of financial investment with partly borrowed money. But if you borrow money, you know what happens. If you borrow money, you might have to pay for interest. But instead of interest here, we're just it, the the mechanism is by maintaining the margin account balance, you actually end up paying for it. So in a way, it says maintains margin. So let's imagine what's going on. So it says here, here the M can be any percentage. It could be 0.5. It could also be 0.6, 0.7. So with that in mind, let's try to analyze what's going on. All right, so let's use this one as example to illustrate how do we how does it work, the relation between the initial margin and the maintenance margin. So in this case, the margin amount in the margin balance is M times 24512. So this is what you have to put in your margin account. That's your money. And then the other amount that is 1 minus M, whatever the M number is, 1 minus M times 24512. This will be borrowed. Okay, so together, the two together makes up the 24,512. That's how much you have to purchase the stock. So now you have the stock, even though you only, this part is your money and this part is borrowed money. And this is what's in your balance, this is what's in your margin account. At what price the maintenance margin is violated, and now we have to, when the maintenance margin is valid, we get a margin call. We will have to pay extra money. So obviously that's when the price is higher. So let's say, suppose the newer market price is lower, and let's say the price is P. Okay, so P is much lower than 24512, like the market value of the stock. We don't know how many shares in here. We don't care about the actual value of it. So suppose the new price is P, it changes our equity. So in the original account at the beginning, what's your equity? All right, it's the market price at that time. The market price is 24512. All right, minus the money that you actually borrowed. How much money we borrowed? We borrowed 1 minus M times 24512. But after you subtract them, you realize that we have a common factor, and we subtract the factors. That's 1 minus M, and that it's really M. 24512. So M times 24512 is in your margin account, and that's your money. Of course, the other one, the other part, that's your borrowed money, so that can be counted as your equity. Now, if you take this one divided by the actual market value, and that's really um, the ratio. So now let's look at what's going on if the price changed to P. If the price changed to P, this is your equity. So equity is your market value of your stock. Market value of your stock is now P, but you still have to worry about your borrowed money. So this is how much you borrow. You borrow. Okay, now that's your new equity value. So your equity changes to this value. All right, because it changed to this value, and we want to make sure this new equity is not below the maintenance margin requirement. Um, so if it's below, then it's the maintenance margin is violated, and then we will get a margin call. So if this one went below the maintenance required, the maintenance the maintenance margin requirement. So if that went below the M minus 0.2 times the price, so it's suppose M minus zero point 0.2 is like 30%, then 30% time the price, time the market price. Now the new market price is P. So if it went below that, that's um, that's what we would require margin call. Okay, so if the price went too low, it's lower than the maintenance margin requirements, and we will have to we will receive a margin call. And when the price went below or right at the margin, or right at that price, remember in the book there are three reactions. Number one, you add more money, so it bring back up the percentage, when it make sure it's higher than the maintenance margin requirement. Number two, you can also sell some of the some of those stocks. So if you sell some of the stocks at the market price at that time, you might be able to bring up the percentage, because if you sell your stock, you have more cash, and that cash can be added back into your margin account. That increases your maintenance, the maintenance margin requirement. All right. The other one is you can also buy actual stock. The price went down, so you might be able to buy more equity, buy more stocks, and that added your market value. Um, and that could also bring up the percentage, the ratio. So in this case, then all that there is left is try to solve this equation for P, like at what price it will be violating the maintenance margin requirement. So all we have to do is solve for P, and you can see the one that has factor P, you move it to the left side of the equation. So it's P minus C m minus zero point 0.2 times P. It will be lower than 1 minus m times 24512. The rest is all algebra. All you have to do is solve for P in this equation, and you get a P less than, it's supposed to be lowercase p, all lowercase. That allows you to find out what was the solution. It was like 1 minus m times 24512 divided by the factor on the left side of the equation. That's 1.2 minus m, zero point 0.2 minus m. And that was the solution for the question two. Because this one is abstract, it made it more general. So I'm hoping that explaining this question allows you to do the question number one, and that will be today's example.